All right, in business news, the Minister of Power, Mr. Adebayo Adelabu, has constituted a 6-member committee to advise the federal government on the necessary solutions to make the national grid robust and reliable. Special Advisor, Strategic Communication and Media Relations to the Minister, Mr. Bolaji Tunji, said this in a statement in Abuja. The members of the committee includes the Executive Director, Independent System Operations, and the Mr. Nafisat Ali, who will lead the committee. Other members include NEXT Commissioner, Dr. Chidi Ike, General Manager, National Control Center, Engineer Ishola, Director, Transmission Ministry of Power, Mr. Emmanuel Nosike, among others. According to the Minister, the committee members are expected to present a report to the Minister on November 1st, while he expressed displeasure at the recurring incidents. Meanwhile, the federal government has raised 289.5 billion naira from its October 2024 bond auction. According to the Debt Management Office, the auction featured 2 reopened tranches of existing bonds, 19.3% for a 5-year bond and 18.5% for a 7-year bond. The 5-year bond attracted 60.7 billion naira in subscription, while the 7-year bond saw a significant jump in bids, totaling 328.5 billion naira. This was slightly lower, than the 190 billion naira offered in September, which was distributed across 3 bonds, the 5-year, 7-year, and 9-year tenors, despite offering a lower amount. The total allotment for October surged 289.5 billion naira, highlighting heightened investors' demand for government securities. The investors' participation reflects sustained appetite for longer-dated instruments, which offer better returns in the rising interest rates environment. And to the oil and gas industry, where the federal government has announced the approval of EXxonMobil's $1.28 billion divestment of its oil and gas assets to Seplat Energy and 3 other divestments. The chief executive of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, Mr. Gbenga Komalafe, disclosed this in Abuja. He said the federal government also approved the divestment of EXXON, Nigeria Energy Company Limited, to Project Odremini Investment Nigeria, Nigerian Najib Oil Company Limited, to Oando Petroleum and Natural Gas Company Limited, and to Total's Energy EP Nigeria Limited and Telemar Energies Nigeria Limited. Mr. Komalafe disclosed that the federal government had proposed 5 divestment applications, but only 4 applications were approved. The federal government has called on industry players in the oil and gas industry to join forces to achieve the nation's incremental target within specific timeline. Speaking at the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission's presentation of a 1 million barrels of oil production per day initiative, President says the success of the initiative is crucial in driving Nigeria's economic recovery growth. Helen Osamide Akings reports.
Nigeria's oil production has experienced a decline due to oil theft, pipeline vandalism, and inadequate investment in the sector. The average crude oil production in Nigeria during the second quarter of 2024 dropped from 1.5 million barrels per day to 1.4 million barrels per day, according to the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics. This gathering has stakeholders of the sector here to flag off the initiative to improve Nigeria's oil production by 1 million barrels of oil per day within the next 12 to 24 months. The president says the initiative will ensure Nigeria remains a crucial industry player in the global energy landscape.
This project confirms the importance of collective action. I am glad that today's launch is not a talk shop, but will feature actionable commitments from all producers, service providers, and financiers. These commitments will be critical in ensuring that we achieve our incremental target within the next 12 months.
The industry has witnessed a notable increase in rig count activities, well intervention, and field developments, signaling a positive trend to boost production. This uptick reflects both the impact of regulatory reforms driven by Commission and the renewed focus on maximizing the potential of our oil and gas assets.
The Minister of Petroleum Resources, Oil, however, charged the Commission to exceed its target of 1 million barrels of oil per day.
That during COVID, Nigeria did 2.4 million barrels. Your project, 1 million barrels, in the next 1 to 2 years is unacceptable. Nigeria cannot wait for another 2 years for us to add another 1 million barrels. That is too long. What do we do now that will take us back to where we were during COVID? What do we do now? So that by the time we come back for your 50th anniversary, we should be doing about 3-4 million barrels per day.
To sustain this initiative, we should go beyond just increasing production. It should catalyze a comprehensive strategy to revitalize our entire upstream sector. Infrastructure modernization, security enhancement, regulatory streamlining, investment attraction, technology, etc.
Stakeholders, however, pledged their support to drive the initiative.
We will have stakeholders working together to draw out modalities that will help the nation improving its oil production per day. Helen Osamide-Akins, TVC News, Abuja.
Asian stocks turned lower today while the bond yields dollar hits a multi-month high and gold traded near record peaks as investors crawled ahead of the U.S. elections. U.S. and FTSE stock futures wobbled 0.2% lower. European futures rose 0.1%. Japan's Nikkei was down 1.4% to touch its lowest since early October, while the yen hit a 151 per dollar for the first time since July, and the bond tracked the selling in U.S. Treasuries. Now, MSCI's broadest index of Asian Pacific shares outside of Japan was down 0.7%, with benchmark indexes in Australia and South Korea losing more than 1%. Hong Kong Hang Seng was near flat, while the Shanghai Composite inched 0.2% higher. HSBC Holdings has named Ms. Pan Kerr as its first female finance chief, replacing Mr. Georges Edery, who became CEO earlier this year, and streamlined the bank into 4 business units. The new CFO joined the group in April 2013 and group head of audit, and before her appointment was the group chief risk and compliance officer. The company also announced an overhaul of the bank that will split into 4 divisions and create a new geographic setup separating East from West. And he seeks to course and navigate geopolitical tensions. The bank, which employs 214,000 people globally, has been removing duplicate roles for years and reducing its business in Western markets, such as the United States, France, and Canada, as it focuses on Asian market, where it has scaled. Now, crude oil prices steadied again near $74 per barrel as the top oil diplomats renewed efforts to push for a ceasefire in the Middle East and slow demand growth in China. The world's top oil importer continued to wane. Now, U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude sells for $70.98 per barrel, with an uptick of 0.60%. Brent crude futures also experienced an upward price margin of 0.50% to sell at $74.66 per barrel. Bonnie Light sells for $678.62 with a downward margin of 2.84%. And for the OPEC basket, dealers offer $73.21 with a downward price review of 0.33%.